Switching gears, on the job is an increasing concern for many businesses. It is a safety risk, and it can, of course, also hurt the bottom line. So they're trying some new measures to identify whether there may be a drug problem in the workplace. But we're not talking about random urine tests here. There are some newer testing methods which offer results in less than 3 minutes. An employee doesn't even have to be present. Kyle, detection and reporting. You're here to tell us about something called Drug Wipe, and this isn't used to test employees necessarily. It's used to test equipment in the workplace. Yes. How does it work?
The test kit's about this big. Take off the collection pads, put a little water on the pads, and then you can wipe a surface. If you were to test a keyboard, you could do up to 50 touches of a keyboard or 50 touches in multiple cubicles. Click it back in, dip it in water, and then within about 2 minutes, a result will present of whether there was a target drug sampled.
And I'm actually going to have you hold up for the camera while I ask you some questions. We have a positive result here, and that's because there are 2 lines on the bottom here, if we can get in close. What is this testing for? What does the positive on this test mean it found?
This test was positive for cocaine. So the surface that was tested there was a residue of cocaine, which either was put there by an employee that came out of their body while they were impaired, or they had brought cocaine to work, came in contact with the bag, contaminated themselves, and then contaminated the surface.
So if it's on the surface, just to clear it up for people, this is because somebody has it in their system at the time and they've either sweated it out, or maybe it's been in their saliva or actually on their person, and that's how it's ended up there.
Right. During the period that it's in your bloodstream, you will sweat out the raw drug.
Who's using this, and are they using it because they definitely have a drug problem? Why are they coming to you?
Well, it was originally built for law enforcement. In European Union, Australia as an example, they will use this as a roadside stop. If you get pulled over and there's belief of drugged driving, they'll wipe your forehead with it. In the States, DEA, FBI, and Customs use it as an investigative tool, and then on the commercial front, companies, commercial aviation companies, trucking companies, we've done tests for schools. To determine whether there's trafficking in the workplace or in the school, or whether there's impairment in the job.
How accurate is it?
It's considered to be 100% reliable.
And give us what does it test for again? There are five substances?
Cannabis, amphetamines, methamphetamines, cocaine, and opiates.
You mentioned, too, that it's used in schools. I'm sure there are a lot of parents out there that are going to be going, well, wait a minute, I'm not sure how I feel about this. You may be testing lockers or something. You know, what if some other kid touched my kid's locker? Maybe that kid was involved with drugs, but my kid never has been, and their locker is going to test positive.
Typically, the programs we do with schools are to define the type of drugs that might be in a school and whether there is use or trafficking. If you go into a school and you don't find drugs, then the school is doing a good deterrent and education job. If you can provide administrators locations and types of drugs, like a third-floor restroom or a block of lockers, then you have an ability to assign some resources to it, whether it's education, possibly interviewing students. Some schools, there's an ability to test students, but this is used mostly, and even in the commercial environments, as a risk assessment tool. What do you have, where is it, and how should resources be allocated against it?
How much does something like this cost?
The kits, if you're a trained user, you can buy them retail. Companies can buy them, like their security people can buy them, and they're about $50 a piece.
So a parent can't buy it, say, if they're worried their kids might be using drugs?
No, we provide a service for parents if they wanted us to come to their homes and provide the testing. It's a very sensitive subject, and so you don't want a parent possibly not running the test correctly and getting a result. So,
interesting to see how it all pans out.
Great.
All right, well, we appreciate you joining us. A very interesting product, and we'll might be hearing more from you in the future. Thanks again.